Welcome to Great Life Coaching here. Today, I'm going to talk to you about standards and something my wife and I were talking about because in our recent experience with moving out here, we have, contractors come in and the builder, we have the loan people, all this stuff going on. And it's frustrating because nothing happens when you want it to, or you ask them they need more information, they say no, then they come back, and they're like, well, we need this from 5 months ago. So anyway, my wife and I were talking about the frustration in that, and that's a quick video I made before. But the frustration comes from standards, and when I say that, my wife probably has a better standard than I do, but we come from maybe a generation, or we come from a working family that their standard is when they're at work, they work. I mean, they do above and beyond what they have to do, and we do the same thing. So growing up, I was in family business. I watched my dad work. He hustled, and in every job I've had, from army on up to whatever else, I've always hustled and made sure that I put the customer, or I put myself in the customer's place or the client's place. And my wife does the same thing. She did 20 years in the Air Force, um, in the kind of like human resources, sometimes customer service, and she did the same thing. And she also expected her people below her, her troops, to do the same thing too. And it's easy to have that expectation because when you're doing that level, people below you see that, and it's easier for them to be motivated to do the same, right? So that's where we come from with standards. So with all this going on, and the biggest problem I have is the lack of communication. For example, the contractor came and he was working on the siding of the house. He was putting the trim on, and while he was doing that with his ladder, he went up there and he made a hole in the siding of the house. He didn't tell us about it. Um, he just took off, and we walked around to inspect his work, and we saw the hole. And so we had to contact the builder, and they had to contact him. All this could have been alleviated. He would have been like, hey, I accidentally made a hole, but I'm gonna fix it, and blah blah blah. Just set up some expectations, because we're spending a lot of money out here, and to not be able to get that communication from them, it's like they feel like they don't have to, or they don't want to, whatever it is. It's frustrating, right? So that standard that we have, just for our own sanity, my wife and I decided, our expectations of the standard is going to be lowered. Um, my wife and I were like, is it a generational thing? Is it a privilege thing? Like they think they don't have to do it. We're not sure, but this comes into how you raise your kids. So your kids are gonna see the standard that you have. They see your work ethic. They see everything, and you can tell them everything, but they're not gonna listen. They're going to watch you. So the things we do, the things you do as parents, or even as uncle and auntie, stuff like that, that have a direct reflection on how they are as adults. Now, when they're teenagers, young adults, they might not show that, but when they're older and they have their own kids, their own family, they're making their own livelihood, they're going to reflect back on what they saw you do, and they're going to repeat the same thing. Or if they're great, they're going to improve on it. And that's what I want from our kids. I want them to see, yes, we have problems, we have arguments, we have issues, but I want them to see what we do with it. Because at the end, it's what happens at the end that matters, not what happens in the middle or whatever. It's how you finish the race, so to say. So this is part of mental health, because if we keep our expectations this high, and they keep missing our expectations because we're putting our standard on them, it's just going to cause more stress. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be direct and talk to them and be like, hey, why didn't you tell me? That's you should be doing that, and we're going to do that. I'm going to talk to the gentleman next time he comes by, and I'm going to be like, hey, I saw this hole, why didn't you contact me, or whatnot. But I don't expect that to go well, but I'm still going to do my part. So when it comes to expectations with people, don't put your standard on other people, because you're going to be disappointed. And also, there are people out there that go above and beyond their standard, and when they do that, I really think you need to stop and tell them, even if it's just a quick email or text, you know, saying, hey, thanks, appreciate you looking out for me, whatever. That stuff is appreciated in the long run. So just a quick video. This is Great Life Coaching. Have a good day. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for just being around. Love you guys. Bye.